Okay, thank you very much for coming to our session. So this is a kind of late afternoon session, but I'm so glad that some of you came here. So our session is titled as Fostering the SDGs Youth Leaders, Learning from Japanese Frontrunner Cities. Next, please. Oh, I will do that. So today we have 6 SDGs leaders, university students, and 3 speakers from the Frontrunner cities. So IGES has been conducting a study tour for youth university students visiting those SDGs Frontrunner cities. So this year, well, last year we visited Minamata City, Kamikatsu, Kitakyushu. So we have a speaker from each cities. And we had students, originally 17 participants for this program. So among those 17, 6 of them are here from Hiroshima or Kyoto or Tokyo. So those of them are panelists here. So I'm the moderator, Junko Author, a researcher at the Institute of Global Environmental Strategies. So last year we conducted this 6-month-long study tour called SDGs Global Human Resource Development Program that connects learning and society through environmental issues. So we got the funding from Ministry of Education of Japan. So we kind of scale up the program. But before that, since 2019, we have been conducting something called SDGs training in Kitakyushu, funded by Kitakyushu City's support. So this year was a scale-up program. So purpose of this program is very ultimate purpose is the win-win situation, not just providing materials occasion to the student, but for the regions who kindly hosting such program can benefit or learn from each other. So students can learn something from the ground, being outside from the university during the summertime, but the host local region can also benefit something from them as well. So I just function as like an intermediator designer to connect those two population, and the government can provide those funding to realize such ideas. So last year, uniquely, since it's a SDGs program, we wanted to have a nice diversity group. So we kind of, participants were open call for the public applications. So each of them kind of have a signature SDG goal, not only, measuring environment, but some interest in more society or economy and so forth. And across from Japan, from Tohoku to Nagasaki, Kyoto, and Hiroshima, and so forth. Also, diversity in nationality from UAE to Myanmar, Indonesia, and so forth. This was also a peer learning occasion. Among those 17 students really got stimulated to each other, really got the inspiration from each other. So not just, adults teaching informations, but among those 17 group, really got something from among themselves. So this was the program outline. So we first select those 17 students from open call. We had an online orientation. Then 1 year ago here, ISAP, we kicked off our program. The next day, we visited IGES headquarters in Hayama to do an ice-breaking workshop. Then during the summer break from the university, we had a two-week-long intensive field work. We kind of lived together for 2 weeks. So we visited 3 SDGs frontrunner cities, which were Kamikatsu Town from Tokushima, Shikoku region, then Kitakyushu City, Kyushu, and Minamata from Kumamoto Prefecture. Then after that, we did lots of online workshop on reflections. We even published our reflection note. Then each one of us took your own initiative to do some small steps, such as disseminating your reporting session and so forth. So we chose these 3 cities in different ways. But what is common is they once suffered from environmental pollution, but now overcame with various approaches. So Kamikatsu Town is very famous for zero waste town. Keep asking why we live in this way, and it's very small, 1,000 plus population. And Kitakyushu is a large industrial town, 1 million people, having a largest eco town and the offshore wind farm. And Minamata once suffered from Minamata disease, but now recovered to regain the clean ocean. But what's common in those three cities are really work closely together with different kind of stakeholders. So Kamikatsu, we visited from rice terrace revitalisation project, also famous zero waste center. We also talk with this elderly who's engaging decorative leaf business called Irodori. And in Kitakyushu, we visited Ecotown or Next Generation Energy Park. We learned about how the wind power industry works. Also, lots of circular economy products and recycling business. And we did a lot of workshop and beach cleanup. Minamata City, we learned a lot from Minamata Academia about the history, how they overcame this pollution. We also met this interesting diver who's really engaging protection of ocean, sea patrol station. We even interacted local high school students. So yeah, providing such study tour is great fun. However, what's the impact? How are you going to measure before and after? It's really abstract and it's very difficult thing. So we took this global standard suggested by UNESCO. UNESCO says you need to have those 8 different competency in order to be a sustainability human resources. You know, system thinking, you have to be normative, strategic, self-awareness. But those are very abstract. They're very difficult to give a definition. But each of them, we made this kind of framework or diary. So each day, at the end of the day of the field work, people write the diary, what really hit, you know, oh, this kind of competency, I really understood, or I really kind of really changed my mind or things like that. So it's very narrative. It's difficult to analyze in a standard quantitative manner. Also, at the end, each of them did a reflection with using Lego Serious Spray. We published such publication. Publications available at the entrance. If you're interested, you can take one. And also, normally such study tour ends when the fieldwork ends. But what was unique thing about this program we designed was really to ask students to take your initiative, whatever small step, you know, any easy step. So each of them return to your university and organize some dissemination session, you know, reporting session, sharing your learning experiences to your friends or to your family, to your cultural community. So many of them did very well, making such, you know, original flyers and organizing such things. It was so difficult, you know, asking permission with your, you know, school and teachers and got the time, but some of them even got awarded from best practice among the university. So now, after going through this exercise, they are not just a listener, you know, they can be talker. They can talk about Kamikatsu, Kitakyushu, Minamata, or IGES as a whole with their own words. This was the greatest output I felt from this program. So now I'd like to hear from these participants. What was your takeaway from this program? Yes, starting from Ale. Ale is from Dosha University.
Thank you, Ota-san. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. And well, I would like to start saying that my passion for sustainability was shaped by participating in this program. I really found my ikigai, and this experience transformed my mindset and the way that I live now. And also this journey took me beyond the theory and in real world application for sustainability by visiting Kamikatsu, Kitakyushu, and Minamata. I learned very powerful insights about how local community actions can lead to biggest actions. So now I would like to provide my takeaways per region. From Kamikatsu, I saw that waste reduction can be possible when stakeholders engage. This city achieved a 80% recycling rate thanks to local participation. Also, I learned about Satoyama concept, where humans and nature can live in harmony together. But the most important lesson that I learned it was that your trash reflects your lifestyle. So Kamikatsu invited us to rethink our consumption habits and take ownership on the waste that we produce. Also, by Kitakyushu, I learned that cities can thrive by reusing resources and collaborating across sectors, governments, businesses, and citizens work together to shift from pollution to innovation. So it really was amazing about renewable energy projects and circular manufacturing projects, since now are part of the city identity. Last but not least, Minamata. Minamata had a very painful and powerful lesson. And here I learned that through the legacy, the mercury pollution, it left a scar in the city. However, the city now has a symbol of resilience, and they now provide more hope to the future. So in this journey, I learned that there is everybody has a role to play. And we can all contribute to a greener future by making smart options. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ale from Dosha University. Now hand over to Hanga. Hanga is a graduate student from Kyoto University.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hanga. So if you are hungry, basically you are remembering me. Hanga, hungry. Yes. So during the training last year, I learned about the effective collaboration between stakeholders to achieve the vision of sustainability aspect. So it can be seen from the story of Kitakyushu City, in which the changes led by mothers who witnessed their kids suffer from the acute respiratory syndrome due to an intensive and rapid industrialization back in the days. Also from the story of Minamata disease that eventually led to the evidence-based scientific to overcome to the source of the disease, which was mercury produced by the production processes of private company in Minamata. Apparently, the vision of sustainability aspect was achieved less than a century. And nowadays, we can dive into blue ocean of Minamata and enjoying clean air of Kitakyushu with its advancement of a renewable energy approach. Not only the environmental improvement, but also I found the emerge of social connectedness between stakeholders toward sustainable cities. This is something that can be seen during visits to Kamikatsu Town of Tokushima, in which I found the societal awareness towards 45 garbage classification with massive collection point and recycling mindset. I also learned that there are another concept of sustainability promoted by Bob Giddings, referring to Koga Sensei from Minamata, that is called strong sustainability, that I agree with it. In response to the traditional definition of sustainability by the Brownland, instead of parching the three aspects of sustainability, social, environmental, and economy, to find an intersection, which is eventually only small part of the three aspects, Bob Giddings defined that sustainability should emerge from its local environmental first, then goes to its social characteristic before we can define what kind of economy that can be utilized to flourish human existence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hanga from Kyoto University. Now I'd like to turn into Sakurako. Sakurako used to be an undergraduate student at the Tohoku University. Now she's a graduate student at the Kyoto University. Sakurako, please.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Sakurako Kitagawa. Although my name includes Sakura, spring flower, my birthday month is November. I studied electrical engineering, but now focus on energy science. Although my major is technical, I've always been interested in local cultures and lifestyles rooted in local communities. That's why I joined this program, to see how sustainability works in communities, not only in theory, but also in everyday lives. One of the most impressive places I visited was Kamikatsu, a small town in Tokushima. There, people bring their garbage to one waste station and sort it into more than 40 categories. What surprised me was not the system itself, but the mindset of people behind their action. Even though problems such as global warming or climate change feel far away, people there take action every day. Why? Because they understand the meaning of their action, behind their actions. In Kamikatsu, each waste item is labeled, where it will go and how it will be used or proceeded. This helps people understand the process of their actions and feel more connected to them. That's what I learned. When people see how their small actions are part of a larger system, even global issues like climate change start to feel personal. When sustainability becomes personal, it becomes powerful. That was the biggest takeaway from this program for me. Technology and policy are important, but they are not enough. We need to help people see the why behind their actions, to feel that their efforts are part of something bigger, no matter how small. Sustainability doesn't start from system, it starts from connection between everyday action and long-term goals. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sakurako. Now I'd like to invite Mariam from Institute of Science Tokyo. Mariam, please.
Hello, everyone. I remember at the beginning of this program, we needed to choose one main SDG. And I think I was the last person to join, and there was only one SDG left, which is gender equality. So I was like, oh my God, I know nothing about gender equality, and I think I am not really interested. But I think that incident did spark my interest in gender equality, because during this program, I was looking for gender equality in Japan. So I saw this in Kamikatsu, where they're promoting agriculture. Yes, and they did apply gender equality because they offer equal opportunities for farmers in both gender to sell their crops, and they use lottery. That's why there's no to be fair. So when I came back to my institute, my institute is Institute of Science Tokyo, which is the best in Japan when it comes to science and technology. However, the number of female students is only 20%. So, and I also heard a lot of students that they say, female students, they mention sometimes they feel isolated or left behind, especially when the male lab members hang out together, they don't invite her. So I believe that this should be changed. So for that, I started women organization in my institute to empower female students, not only female students, but also faculty members and staff members. So for that, I want to create a friendly environment for everyone, and also to support or change the stereotype of women in science, which will help to increase the number of female students, hopefully. So if anyone here interested in women empowerment, please reach me out later. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Mariam. So it's almost your destiny to tackle gender issues. Thank you very much. Now turning to Martin from AK University of Hiroshima. Martin, please.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Martin. And my main takeaway from this event was two words: inspiration and reflection. Now, I want to preface this with the fact that I'm Mexican, so that has a lot of perks. We have the best gastronomy in the world. When we eat real tacos, not whatever Taco Bell is. However, that also means that I grew in a society that is not very well aware of its impact on the environment. And of course, we are less aware of what SDGs are. So my first encounter with SDGs was actually here in Japan, and it was not a very positive one. It was actually sort of tainted by the ideas and comments and some ideologies of some organizations that I won't mention. But overall, I was very judgmental about some SDGs, specifically SDGs 17, Partnership for the Goals. So I started my SDGs road with this idea that it was maybe not as necessary as I thought. However, thanks to this beautiful learning trip, I actually got in contact with amazing people. And through my friends here, I learned about the actual importance of cooperation, of working together to build a better future. And since then, I think I've changed the way I perceive this SDG, and I reflected on what does it means to actually cooperate, to actually partner with other people. And the other part is that thanks to being surrounded by amazing people, I felt inspired to improve and focus on all of the environmental objectives that I had in mind. And so when I came back to AK, I actually started working on a lot of projects that I had in the back of my mind, and I started to pull people into it. For example, I'm working right now in entrepreneurship for recycling plastics. Overall, I think it was a beautiful trip, and my main takeaway is that reflection and inspiration to do better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Martin from Hiroshima. Yeah, so now I like to ask Mana. Mana used to be an undergraduate student at the Sophia Jochi University. Now she graduated, but continued to be Sophia as a research assistant. Mana, please.
Hi, thank you. So I think one major takeaway for me during this trip was realizing how when we're addressing these complex social and environmental challenges, we can't simply look at the symptoms. We really need to look deeper. We need to look at the systems, the cultures, the worldviews that shape the problems that we're facing today. And in Kamikatsu, something that really struck me was how this small village nestled in the mountains of Tokushima is leading this zero waste movement. And, 45 categories of waste, as some mentioned, they have this very, advanced waste system, and it may seem really tedious, but it also reflects this sort of community-wide shift in consciousness where people are really not just trying to achieve 100%, a 100% recycling rate, or they're not just focused on trying to reduce material waste altogether. But I think in talking with the villagers, it was really inspiring how they're looking a lot deeper at their lifestyles and at their values, and really questioning this take, make, waste mindset that I think is so ingrained in our cultures today. And they're sort of trying to reframe that and how can we live in more regenerative ways? So that was really a big takeaway from Kamikatsu. In Kitakyushu, a really inspiring takeaway was how these communities or the people we met there are working across different sectors and across different backgrounds. They're collaborating, with among citizens, businesses, educational institutions, and seeing that collaboration, that multi-stakeholder collaboration was really inspiring, I think, for me, for many of us, as we're talking about that afterwards. And also finally, Minamata. This is an example, looking at the history of Minamata disease, where we see how environmental crises are so interconnected with issues of social justice and human rights. And so when addressing environmental issues, we need to also look at, how that, the effects on the most vulnerable and marginalized communities. And what I thought was, like in seeing that at the same time, it was amazing how Minamata, as also like Kitakyushu similarly, how they're rewriting their story from, not just being this city of pollution, as many people have seen them as, but they are rewriting that and showing people their resilience and how, they can sort of be an example for now where new life thrives. In Minamata, for example, we saw how this diver is bringing back this seahorse and revitalizing the ocean. So that was really inspiring. And I think maybe my biggest takeaway would be the importance of community. So I learned so much from the IGES team as well as my fellow participants. We had so many discussions during meals, during the bus rides from place to place, and during those discussions, it made me realize that there is no single path forward, and that's what makes me so excited. Is that there's so many possible ways to create positive change. So that really I carried with me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mana. Yeah, so we saw rewriting the history. Those three cities used to be so bad in terms of environment, but if you have an intention, you can rewrite the story, right? Thank you very much. So now I like to turn to frontrunner cities. When I designed such program, we wanted to do good for these hosting companies or entities, not just giving to the student, but really host should rewarding, should get something out from the students. So whenever we listen to their lectures, visit their company entities, at the end, we ask students, what's your suggestion? What's your, rough idea you can suggest to the company, what could be better? Because those companies or cities are now model cities. However, they're still facing challenges. They're still having some issues to solve. So now I'd like to invite Mr. Ito from Hokutaku Company. Hokutaku is a private company headquartered in Hokkaido, but they have a branch in Kitakyushu City. They are doing wind power generation business, maintenance, and the human resource development. So can I ask Ito-san, what was your takeaway for your company? You can speak in English, I will translate.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm not good speaking English. I'll speak in Japanese. Sorry. 我々がですね、直接普段接している風力発電業界の、外で、しかも、積極的に、環境について、考えている海外を含めた、若い方たちが考えていることっていうのを知れること、でまた将来に思うことっていうのを直接お話ができること、これが一つメリットです。でまた水俣やですね、上勝町であったりとか、他の研修に行かれた地域とか組織の話をですね、間接的にこういった形で聞くことができてですね、包括的に同じような目的を持つ他の業界で働く方たち、そういった方たちが目指しているものということを知ることができることもやっぱメリットだと思います。で、最大のメリットはですね、やはり我々この風力発電業界を将来支えていくこのような若い世代の方たちが何を求めていて、それをどのように我々が提供してそこを結びつけていけるかということを具体的に知って、将来の人材確保であったりとか人材の育成、そういったものに向けて検討をこれからできるというのは最大のメリットだと思っています。
Yeah, thank you, Ito-san. I will translate. So our big takeaway was that we had an occasion to hear directly from the young people, which usually not have it, about their thoughts and expectation for the future. So those young people, including from overseas international students who are outside or inside of the city, who are outside of the wind industry, so they might have a very creative idea, also sincerely thinking about the environment. Another merit was that you could hear about other regions, Kamikatsu or Minamata, from their stories. So they can learn outside of their city or industry what they're having common or challenges and so forth. Also, wind power generation industry is a growing industry, going to be bigger in the future, so which should be supported by youth, next generations. So listening to what the university students are thinking or are interested in help us to make our strategy of human resource development or recruiting strategy to be connected to the young voices. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite online speaker from Kamikatsu Town, Mr. Sil. He's running an organization called INO, who arrange those kind of tour and gives a very interesting workshop and educational program. Can I invite Sil from Kamikatsu Town of Tokushima Prefecture?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So,
What's
my
your
name is-
takeaway?
My name is Sil, and I'm leading INO, which is a social enterprise with a mission to build a more circular and waste-free society. And regularly, we host programs with businesses and universities. But I would say that hosting this program with IGES that brought together a cohort of people with from different backgrounds, but who all share this internal drive and care to build a more sustainable world. That in itself was a really meaningful opportunity. For us at co-creation and community building are really key. So bringing these different backgrounds from different cultures and professional expertise together was for us an interesting moment where we could see participants learn from each other, also learn from what Kamikatsu is doing, but even as important, an opportunity for local residents to connect to young people and to listen to their ideas and to learn from them. So, for example, I remember a moment where after a session, the participants stayed for a longer time to connect with Hidemi. And Hidemi, she's one of the youngest farmers in Kamikatsu. And there was this half-an-hour talk to learn more about Hidemi's life, but also for Hidemi to see this interest to learn about her life and the decisions she had been taken in her life. So this kind of moments of connection create this kind of energy that empowers local people and gives them a sense of pride for the work that they're doing. So that is what I mean with co-creation. For us, this was a moment where also local people could feel a sense of pride and learn from the participants. Another takeaway was for us, or important, was that we could read, the participants' reflections and also see participants disseminate information in other ways. For example, Mana, she wrote a Substack on her experiences in Kamikatsu, and this helps us reach new people and who share similar values or who get to learn from Kamikatsu without being here. And lastly, we're a small organization, and hosting this program together with IGES gave us just an opportunity to connect with a young group of talented people to broaden our network, and hopefully also in the future to continue, working together and for us to learn from the participants. So yeah, it's really about growing our network, co-creating, community building, and disseminating information that was really beneficial to our organization and to Kamikatsu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cyril from Ino Kamikatsu. Yeah, we were very surprised to be hosted by this small village by international people. There are a big concentration of international people in Kamikatsu. So now I'd like to invite Dr. Koga from Minamata Academia, Minamata City. Koga sensei, よろしくお願いします。
Okay, hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Well, thank you. Thank you for give us the opportunity to talk with you again. You visited Minamata last year after the Kamikatsu and the Kitakyushu program, and you said the Minamata just for 3 days, but very interesting and very active persons, and you learn a lot of the Minamata disease and the present situation in Minamata city and around. Firstly, probably you are surprised why it's so clean water and sky, blue sea and blue skies for 3 days. And so you enjoy the food in Minamata, and also you learned and touch the seawater and marine biologies and so on. And I think there are some, we have to continue and transfer the correct scientific knowledge to the people because recently we had two cases fake news based on the fake news. Minamata disease is one genetic disease or transfer disease from the local governments. So please transfer the real Minamata disease from the scientific point of view in your country and or in locations. And please come back anytime in Minamata. We can support because Minamata Environmental Academia was established about 10 years ago. During the last 9 years, we accepted 2,000 people for some symposium and workshop and so on. Yeah, I want to see you again very soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Koga-sensei from Minamata Academia. We learned so much about Minamata disease in the correct manner. Before we went there, not all of us knew this is not a contagious disease, or we now have a correct information we can disseminate. Also, we learned how ocean got so clean that Tatsuno Otoshigo can live, and we also met the interesting diver of doing scientific monitoring. Thank you very much, Koga-sensei. So this was the first round of question. We like to go for the second round of question, which is to broaden our perspective to your future. So first question was your takeaway from this program, but utilizing such learning from this program, what kind of SDGs leaders you want to be? What kind of contributions you like to make for the society in your future? Or what kind of person you like to be? What kind of life you like to be enjoying? So it's a bigger picture. So it's very nice to stop and think about such issues before you graduate. So can I now turn into from the other way manner? What kind of SDGs leader you want to be?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been reflecting on this question a lot. The question of how do I want to lead in this time of polycrisis, in this time where we're facing, environmental collapse, social inequality, political instability. We're seeing atrocities like what's happening in Gaza right now. There's just so much happening, and it's so easy to feel just overwhelmed by all of this. And I think what I keep going back to is this idea or this belief that I really think we need to look within. And so I've been this theme for me over the past year has been on inner development. So again, kind of what I talked about earlier about this, like the idea of worldviews are the kinds of mindsets that are really shaping the problems we're facing today. And many of us are familiar with the SDGs, but I wonder how many of us are familiar with the IDGs or the inner development goals. These IDGs represent qualities like self-awareness or collaboration, empathy, critical thinking. And I think these qualities are so essential in this time of uncertainty and complexity. I think despite having so many incredible new technologies, despite having a lot of promising policies as well, and an abundance of resources, it sometimes feels like the problems are only getting worse. And so this idea of I think there's such a need for inner development at not just an individual scale, but at a collective communal scale. And so, yeah, I've been thinking about how, as an SDGs leader, how can I embody that? And for me, I want to be someone who embodies and tries to take action in doing that sort of outer development as well as inner development. I also want to be someone who especially is focusing on shifting those inner paradigms and creating spaces where people can kind of reimagine how they can act and maybe reimagine their worldviews, or maybe realize that, yeah, maybe certain ways of perceiving are actually harming the earth. So how can we shift to see ourselves as deeply interconnected with the earth, not separate from it? I also want to be a leader or a person who acts from a place of love and compassion. I've been really inspired by mindfulness practitioners and environmental activists like Joanna Macy. Maybe some of you are familiar with her. And I've been exploring communities across Japan and abroad where they're working on local community efforts. I've also been interested in eco-villages, and I think these eco-villages tend to be places where they're really focusing on that inner development. So I find that really fascinating. Yeah, and so I think as I move forward, I want to really be focusing on that and reflecting on how I can carry that with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mana. So Mana is very interested in going into inner side of the humanity, and very interesting. Thank you. Can I pass on to Martin from Hiroshima AK University?
Thank you very much. Every time someone asks me what I want to be in the future, I answer kind. I want to be kind to other people. I want to be kind to my friends. I want to be kind to the environment. I believe we should strive to be kind and kinder than the person we were yesterday. Many of the problems that we are facing today, pollution, environmental degradation, many of the wars that we are facing these days, it's because we are lacking kindness, because we are too focused on ourselves. Instead of looking outwards, we only look inwards. And I believe that it is the greatest thing that a human can do, be kind. In that same sense, in regards to SDGs, I want to be someone who not only looks at the forest, but also is able to perceive the trees and appreciate the leaves within the trees and the environment inside the forest. I think that kind of vision can only be achieved with kindness and sympathy, a vision that encompasses as many things as it can encompass. And well, I like to think that we are not just individuals floating in space. We are a system. We affect each other, and we affect people who we will never met, or even people who hasn't even been born yet. So in that regard, I think only sympathy, empathy, and kindness can reach us forward into the future. And in my personal interest, I love economics. I want to make a career out of it. And so I want to develop a kinder economic system, one that does not take advantage of people, that does not take advantage of the environment, but one that sees everything as a whole and tries to complement everything with kindness. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martin. Yeah, kindness and sympathy, lack of those can create issues. Yeah, thank you very much. So can I invite Mariam from Institute of Science, Tokyo?
For me, it's not only me, but I want from every leader to be the one that their work speaks louder than their words. Someone who actually do actions rather than speaking about change over and over again. Because leadership for me, it's about showing up and doing work and inspiring people. So joining this program has been an important step in shaping the leader I want to be. It has helped me expand my network, not just in number, but in depth and connections. And I've been able to work closely with the brilliant members here. They helped me a lot after the program to get closer or to achieve projects outside of this program. And I've seen how our combined efforts can move projects from a concept to a reality. Yes, so that's my answer.
Yeah, thank you, Mariam. So not just word, not just saying, but really she likes to take a lead to make an action. So yeah, thank you very much, Mariam. Now, Sakurako, please. What kind of SDGs leader you want to be?
Okay, thank you. So I want to be a leader who can contribute to um, contribute to develop local communities in their own ways to protect Japan's regional diversity. Each rural area has a deep culture and cultural and ecological value shaped by long histories and landscapes or like human relationships. But many of these communities are facing depopulation and shrinking. As people and money flow out, so do skills, traditions, or identities. If we do nothing, we may lose this irreplaceable foundation of Japan's richness. But I believe rural areas are not just places to preserve, they are places full of potential. They don't need to become like cities. They do have many things that cities doesn't have. Like knowledge, culture, nature, and people. What they need are systems that let them earn sustainable income from outside while keeping their values intact. That's the kind of leader I want to be. Someone helps build local economies based on local identity, especially through decentralized energy system. That is my major. Energy is not just about power, it's about self-reliance. Local energy system can lower electricity cost, keep money in the region, and support new jobs. When energy is produced and used locally, it becomes part of a cycle, a living system that connects people, economy, and the environment. Through my background is technical, I want to design systems that match each community's character. I want to support communities in growing on their own terms, using their own strengths. That is the kind of SDGs leader I want to be, not just protecting what they have, but helping it grow into something even stronger together with the people who live there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakurako, for the strong message. So she wants to be a leader to help local region in Japan to grow, not just preserving, but really help them to grow. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Hanga from Kyoto University. What kind of SDGs leader you want to be?
Yes, thank you again, Ota-san. So, ladies and gentlemen, after intensive discussion during the training with SDG stakeholders, my fellow trainees, the staff and persons from IGES Kitakyushu office, JICA, especially the JICA-BIS of Kitakyushu office, and several renewable energy companies in Kitakyushu, I came up with an idea called with sustainability holding. So the idea is supposedly initiated by, I am borrowing the term from Antonio Gramsci, called with organic intellectual as a connector between one business process to another business process, from the downstream to the upstream, to eliminate any possible sustainable uncertainty and disseminate the idea of service, or product or the idea that being produced by using the concept of strong sustainability that I already explained previously. In Antonius Gramsci's theory, the people called with organic intellectual is someone who emerged from specific social class or group and articulates its interests and aspirations, acting as a leader and organizer within that group or communities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is interesting. I decided myself to become one of the organic intellectual. Currently, together with another organic intellectual from my country, Indonesia and Japan, I founded Midori Forestry. This is a semi-startup in the field of climate change mitigation discourse. This is only a starter. However, due to the capital shortage and my status as an international student at Kyoto University, among the limiting factor to become very aggressive, I started as a research consultant and accessing such a research grant from various resources. Nowadays, I just pitch my research idea and on studying the development of carbon market mechanism between Indonesia and Japan in front of the panelists from the ASEAN Japan Center. The pitching went well and just kicked off last week. So this is an example that through these research consultant activities, I hope to become a leader that can bridge many interests and business processes towards the vision of sustainability holding. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanger, and congratulations for your successful acquirement of the fund. So during the visit, there was a session by JICA Kyushu about their JICA business. He got the inspiration for his idea to make a proposal for carbon market mechanism related project and send the application and successfully got it. Thank you very much. Really taking a real great step. So lastly but not least, can I ask Ale for your SDGs leaders vision? Thank you.
Thank you. I want to be a leader who connects sustainability, innovation, and culture by transforming waste into value. To me, sustainability is not about just reducing harm. It's about designing new possibilities. So I would like to ask you, how many of you have tried Guatemalan coffee? If you can raise your hand. Okay. So based on that, and plus the inspiration from Kamikatsu, I decided to make my research on coffee waste. So by doing so, it's because I think most of you consume coffee. So coffee is one of the most demanded beverages worldwide, and this leads to significant waste. The waste goes to landfills, and this contributes to air pollution. But what is the problem? Well, currently there is some companies that they have launched some functional products, but there is no awareness, there is no connection with these sustainable products. So by saying that, I took an approach on thinking, what if we add designing products, how that can shift the behavior on consumers. So to test this idea, I ran an experiment by using digital design tools. And by doing so, I tried to test if by adding design with purpose and identity can make a shift in purchase intention. And the key findings was that definitely the artistic design was the main choice or attribute of their decisions. But more than that, it was very important to make clear about the environmental message that we add in the product. So by saying that, I would say that my research was focused in 3 SDGs goals. First, the SDG 12, by responsible consumption and production. Second, the SDGs 9, innovation. Third, SDGs 13, about climate action. So as a leader, I can see myself becoming an entrepreneur who can combine coffee, sustainability, creativity, to create business solutions in order to provide a positive impact in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ale. So yeah, she's going to business school of Dosia and from Guatemala, coffee country. So she likes to be entrepreneur utilizing coffee waste and combine with digital too. Well, great. Thank you. Good luck. So now I like to turn into Frontrunner cities. So what kind of, how would you like to foster a youth, or what type of human resource your company or your region needed? Can I start from the online, Koga Sensei from Minamata?
Yes. So for for the SDGs leader for the next century, probably they should have a very high level of scientific knowledge, especially the environmental science field. Very wide range of the knowledge or how to wear the for the leader. We don't need strong leadership. Now we can see the some strong, too strong leader in the world, but I think just only the strong leadership should not continue to so long. I think the in terms of the sustainability, I think they need the open mind to hear the other people's opinion and wide range of some idea and correct information. So it is very difficult to be a SDGs leader in your country or in the region or in the area. But sustainable is very important for the people living on this earth. Yeah, I expect you all to be a very political. Oh, no. It's a kind of some bright and nice person as well. Thank you very much. I cannot explain about my idea, but that's all I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Koga Sensei. It's interesting to hear we don't need one strong leader, but we need a wide range of different types of leaders. Yeah, that's a very good message. And now I'd like to invite Sil. You have been providing lots of educational programs and workshop to many visitors. Visitors keep coming to Kamikatsu. And so can I ask, what's your vision for fostering the youth?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that the world today can feel very overwhelming when you talk about sustainable development goals like tackling poverty, inequality, climate change. That might feel to young people at the start of their careers very unattainable. Where do you start? How do you create change? How do you support and allow people to kind of follow your ideas and vision? I think for we foster next generation youth by focusing on place-based education, where people can really learn from rural or local realities. And we believe that education starts from the lived experience. So when you came to Kamikatsu learning about the waste management policy of Kamikatsu, you also saw firsthand examples of taking local ownership, leveraging local resources, system thinking, human nature relationships, creating building a shared community of purpose. So that's really important, starting with the lived experience. And then second of all, we focus on fostering next generation leaders by by highlighting transparency and critical thinking. When you think about success stories around the world, they're often biased and they're taken out of local context, and emphasis is placed on the achievements and not the failures or the challenges in those communities. So, when we host people, young people in Kamikatsu, we also share kind of the issues that the community is experiencing. We still produce a lot of plastic here. Not everyone agrees with a zero waste system that is in place. What about older people who are 80 years old and have difficulty sorting the waste and bringing it to the center? So we want to create really this foster critical thinking, but also making it feel real, that we are also still struggling with some things. And by making it feel real, I think you can see that it makes it feel relatable as well. Then I think lastly, we want to foster next generation youth by creating a home in Kamikatsu. So when you're creating change, you might often feel alone. And just the simple act of creating spaces of connection where people who share this common kind of care for creating change around climate change or inequalities, by creating those moments of connection, you create also moments of energy, inspiration, motivation that we all need once in a while. So that's really important for us as well. And regarding the question of what type of young people our region needs, Kamikatsu is at this moment attracting young people who care about social and environmental issues, but overall in society, I think there's a shift in the idea of what success means. It's not just about like having this incredible career or earning a lot of money, but also about finding a sense of purpose. And it's about, we would like to attract people who recognize, young people who recognize that their talents and skills can also thrive in rural areas in Japan, and young people who are adaptable, creative, and resourceful. So yeah, I hope I was able to answer your questions in that way.
Yeah, thank you very much, Seo. Yeah, Kamikatsu, we stayed there 3 nights, 4 days only, but really heard lots of life story, met very interesting people asking why you are here, why you're here from foreign countries, or why you're here from Tokyo in a small village of 1,000 people population. So made us really think how you want to live for your life and what's the human nature relationships and so forth. Thank you very much, Seo. Lastly, can I ask Ito-san from Hokutaku, Kitakyushu?
はい。風力発電だけではなくてですね、再生可能エネルギーを使ったり、あとは他の方法でもいいんですけれども、さらに世界的な脱炭素といったものをですね、実現できるような将来をしっかりと意識して、それを具体的に考えた上で行動できる若者を育成したいと考えています。さらに地域というところに目を向けるとですね、そうやって将来を具体的に考えて行動できるような、行動力や考え方を持った上で、学んだこと、考えていることをより、なんでしょうね、狭い地域というコミュニティに、しっかりとアウトプットしていけるような方を、育てていきたいと思ってます。で、またさらにですね、その狭い地域でインプットしたものを、またさらに大きなコミュニティでしっかりと段階的にアウトプットできるような若者を育ててですね、いければなと思ってるんですけど、そういった機会とか、チャンスですね、とかそういったものを創出してあげるという意味で、我々が貢献していけるっていうところも、いかないといけないというところも、やっぱり我々の責務だなとは考えていて、特にこの風力発電っていうのはまさに本当に小さな地域で育てていく産業というイメージが強くてですね、いろんな海外で学んだこととか、国内で学んだこと、そういう大きなコミュニティから学んだことを小さなコミュニティに伝えていくという橋渡しができるような若者を必要としています。
Yeah, thank you, Ito-san. I will translate. In order to achieve decarbonized society, we want to nurture young people who can think concretely and act accordingly. Not for wind power sector, but for the renewable energy sector as a whole. And furthermore, at the local level, we would like to foster young people who can produce concrete output to a small community first, then gradually step up to produce bigger output to a larger community level. And we also believe that creating such opportunities is our company's responsibility. And wind power generation has an industry that requires local understanding and engagement of a whole region. Therefore, we need a young people who can act as an intermediator, bridging between large and small communities. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you very much for the Frontrunner Cities comments. Now I like to open the floor for your comments, questions, anything. By the way, this year we are also conducting a similar SDGs training, but this time limited to Kitakyushu City only, but 2 weeks coming in end of August to September. And deadline application is tomorrow. We extended because of this session. So now it's up in the website. If you are interested in, you can apply by tomorrow, 3 p.m. So this time we will visit many local companies in Kitakyushu who's pursuing zero carbon circular economy and nature positive biodiversity. This is a new topic. And think about synergetic effect. We think synergetic effect together with those local company. And at the end of the 2 weeks training, participants have a chance to present your suggestions, ideas to the local company. So this is a new kind of step of SDGs training upcoming. And yeah, now I'd like to open the floor for your comments. Can I maybe invite Tom from same university as Mariam? He was also participants for this SDGs program. In fact, I think he was kind of leader for the whole program. He always was a kind of good icebreaker. What was your takeaway? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much. So my name is Anolak Nalsing, and I'm originally from Laos and also from our Institute of Science Tokyo. So I'm also like the participants of this program, and the key takeaways for me, I would say maybe 3 are main things. Like the first one that I learned, it also about our community engagements, like some participants already mentioned, especially like the Kitakyushu, because as you know, because this community heavily rely on the residents to participate into the program that to sort out the waste into 40s or more than 40 categories. And the second one, the key takeaway for me, I would say, is about environmental education. I think this is also really important that we should integrate this into like a school or even like the public life, that to raise awareness, not just only for the student, but also like to the local communities as well. And lastly, I would say it's about like PPP, like a public, private, and partnership. I feel this is kind of like a key factor of our successful collaborations, like between governments, the businesses, and the local community. I would say this is like the most important thing. Without this one, I would say maybe in the 3 cities that I visited, maybe it's may not like success. That for my key takeaway. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Tom, thank you. He's from Laos. He was the first one to organize his own session at his university, always, making the pave the way for others. Thank you. And can I ask maybe Yamabe-san, who also cooperated when we visited IGES headquarters? Yeah, is there any takeaway for you hosting our group?
Yes, I'm Alice Yamabe, and I briefly met all of the participants to this training during the cards game that was organized by Ota-san. And yeah, I think it wasn't mentioned, but it was a really great way to break the ice. I think it was probably one of the first days that everyone was meeting after ISAP. and we learned about not only the SDGs, but how we can envision a better society and what interests everyone has in realizing this kind of society, and also the many drawbacks that there are. So it was really instructive to take part in this game, but also I was I really loved meeting everyone, and I'm so pleased to see the rest of the training, how everything went. And how everyone has started to graduate, and like how this has taken on so many a greater impact and potentially contributing to your career aspirations. So this was a really great training. And I actually have a question to Ota-san. I was wondering, what do you think are your takeaways from this training, and how you think that IGES can further scale? I mean, you've introduced this year's training that you'll have in Kitakyushu, but I'm wondering if there are any potential applications or integration into local policies that can be done either in Kitakyushu or Minamata or Kamikatsu, if this can be if the contribution from the youth and potential proposals that were made can be integrated into the local policy making, and if this kind of training can be scaled up, or even, I don't know, if there are any other opportunities that you might have considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Yamabe-san. So my takeaway was really, I had a good time. Really, just recalling a year ago makes me feel happy. You know, I think the human learns something when you're feeling something, happy or sad or whatever. Otherwise, it doesn't go through your brain. So I learned so much because it was so much fun. It was so stimulus. So, great moment we shared. And I was trying to connect local regions to the university students, because many of these rural regions in Japan are having lots of issues, facing challenges. However, many of them say they are attractive, Kamikatsu, 1,000 people, but very attractive. Why not live there? Why they're having depopulation? Because it's so attractive. But, like Sakurako said, what's the solution? Many rural regions in Japan are kind of declining, depopulating. But once you visit it, it's great. I want to live here, but why not? So we keep kind of, trying to, I don't have an answer yet, but I think there are many approaches. There are different approaches each city has been taking. So this time we like to focus on maybe a possibility of recruiting. So that's why we are designing to visit many local small SMEs companies. They need people. They need a very high-level people like you, global people. But it's very difficult to get those people. People tend to be attracted to bigger company in Tokyo or elsewhere. So we like to be kind of like a good intermediator, matching students' needs to a local company or local region's needs. That's my kind of next step vision. Thank you for your good questions. Thank you. Okano-san, he used to be an IGES researcher. We went to COPS together. He's an application specialist.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be back. Naoyuki from the United Nations University, and I'm also in charge of the developing educational programs in my current responsibilities. So the session was quite inspiring for me. Thanks so much for putting this together. So because of, that I'm also working on developing this education program, I'd like to ask those participants and maybe people from the hosting entities, what are if you are to develop, for example, the education program based upon this experience, what could be their core contents or the contents that you'd like to suggest? And that kind of idea is always inspiring for those people who are entering to the middle, to the senior. Like people forget, gradually forgetting about my educational experience. So if you have any interesting ideas, I'd like to hear, like any of you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Okano-san. Okano-san worked for IGES last 4 years as a researcher, but now he's working for United Nations University in Tokyo. He's also will be teaching a course for climate change, I think. So he's asking what kind of program, if you are organizer or teacher, what kind of contents you like to make. That's a good question for me as well. We've been keep thinking, what could be attractive to the youth? Anyone? Yeah, Sakura. Yeah, you can use your microphone.
So I want to learn not only positive side, but also negative side of SDGs, or I don't know, diversity, or like sound, like some words seems like good or beautiful. Like we have learned many things about SDGs, or like importance of sustainable development, but it's few opportunities to learn negative side, and like we are kind of, I don't know, but for me, it's kind of tired. I'm kind of tired of learning like positive, like good things about SDGs. So yeah, that's my suggestion maybe. Like yeah, I know like SDGs is very important, but we are tired of learning good sides. So that's like kind of my suggestion.
Yeah, the real challenges, the real issues. Actually, we are in a stage, even the international society has to start discussing about post-SDGs starting from 2027, I believe. So we need to think about what was wrong with it. We are not achieving as much as we thought. So it's a very good point. Anyone else?
It's a really good question. For me, I'm from Guatemala. I become for a developing country. I would like to open up a program where we can start with education, because I believe education has to be the first stage. Since right now in Latin America, what is SDGs is very premature content. So I would like to spark this curiosity through education first, and then take next steps through actions where we can provide awareness to our community first, so we can have a shared responsibility, a shared goal in common, right? So I would like to work together with companies who are interested on provide this kind of education through with different resources, since I believe is the first step for becoming sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ale, from the developing countries perspective. And Martin?
Yeah, well, kind of similar to Sakurako's answer. I want to learn more about the failures of projects or what went wrong. We saw all of these great, beautiful projects that went right. What about those that were, maybe greenwashing, or they were badly proposed? Why they were wrong since the beginning, or what went wrong during the production, and what could we do different to avoid the same mistakes? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. So, for me, it's when we went for every town, we learn about some of the challenges they are facing. So it was really interesting to learn this, but then I felt sad that we learned, but we didn't help. So probably like we give a solution, or we start like a project to help them before we leave like a good mark. So this is one of the things I want to add.
Yes. I've been thinking about how the climate crisis is really not just a crisis of politics or science or economics, but it's really a crisis of our collective imagination. And I kind of mentioned earlier about like inner development. And I have been thinking about like, I would love to design a workshop or an educational experience that's around that. That's, of course, it's so important to talk about policies and yes, to be talking about projects. But at the same time, I've talked to a lot of youth who are just very depressed and experiencing climate anxiety, depression. And so in together with those programs while we're talking about these challenges, how to take action steps, maybe also including kind of these more like imaginary practices or like sort of imagination practices. I recently did this activity where we imagined 7 generations forward, like we just received a letter from 7 generations in the future, and it was a really encouraging letter, but it's also kind of reflecting on like how would we respond to them about how we're acting right now. And it's not just about like sort of entering this sort of depressive, like, oh, we're failing, but also it's this letter we received that we actually succeeded and we did really well. And what is it that we did well? And it was a really, like, doing that imaginary exercise was actually really inspiring and made me feel more like uplifted in the process. So maybe something like that, like meditation even, that, yeah, I feel like it's kind of lacking, but it's very important.
Yeah, thank you. Any response from Okano-san? Any help? That's okay. Yeah.
No, just thank you. That's very inspiring. Those ideas, like, that's beyond my imagination already. So thanks so much. And it's really important to also talk the dark side of SDGs or potential failures. I really agree, but it's a little complicated to touch upon such aspects through especially these kind of on-site training events. So that's maybe something that Ota-san can think about in the coming year. Thank you.
Yeah, he has been following loss and damage issues, which is kind of depressing issue. We already lost something, you know. Yeah, thank you very much. Anyone else? Maybe can I ask Akagi-san, who also participated part of the program?
Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. And I was so much impressed, and I'm sure that you will be the real leader for the next generation or upcoming society. And actually, I'm also teaching at the University of Kitakyushu since this April. So I also wondering how I can design the course nicely, especially I'm teaching the graduate students and international students like you. So your insights were very helpful, you know, also for me. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts as well. And yes, I was so impressed by the fact that you kind of, you know, we give the same information to you and you somehow reframe, you know, from your context or observations. And because you have various backgrounds, so your, how would say, your output tends to be very diverse and very insightful. And I also learned a lot from your, through your discussions with you during my trip to Kamikatsu. I just joined the Kamikatsu trip, so, but I really enjoyed the tour with you. And I have actually one question. As I said, I'm teaching the students, international students, and they are the kind of technical students. And if I, when I give the same information, their response tends to be a little bit slow or sometimes no response because somehow, you know, like they are interested in more scientific research rather than like social or policy things. But I think they should know the policy and the social issues because they are developing the technical solutions for making good society, right? So in this context, I try to deliver such information to them, but somehow I feel certain barrier or challenge to get them understand this context. But when I talk to you, you somehow easily understand and interpret this information and give the good response, right? And I'm wondering what kind of education you got, you know, so far, because I think it's a matter of training or matter of education, and everybody can get trained in a good way. So I want to get the hint from you. Thank you.
So anyone, it's about interdisciplinary issues as well. Anyone respond? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's maybe a bit unfair because when I was in high school, I took this program called the International Baccalaureate, which basically helps you take different courses from different areas. It's by design mandatory. So that's the part that I had to take in order to like understand more things in the sense of a system. What I could recommend you instead is try to explain why is this necessary. Not only tell them, yes, this is necessary because this helps, but like try to show them, maybe show them this example of a researcher that had a good idea and sent it to the government, but it was denied because it was a bad policy, right? One case that comes to my mind is the tragic decease of the astronauts who were in like a space shuttle in America that exploded in the air. That could have been prevented if the engineers there had a little bit more understanding of presentations, for example, of PowerPoint, of policymaking, of talking to people. That's a tragedy that could have been avoided. The boy, I think it was Voyager or something, I don't remember. Challenger, yes, the Challenger was the one that exploded because there was a lot of miscommunication, for example. So a way to do this is by providing games, by providing valuable references of showing them that there's more to the world than only mathematics and engineering. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Akagi. So I have to call you Akagi Sensei from now on because you are now professor for Kitakyushu University. So I love to hear podcasts in any way in any moment I can, like running sports. And then there were two speakers from particular podcast, one from academics and then one he was a big fish investor. The professor from academic economic professor, he said that no matter how smart you are, if you cannot communicate your cleverness, it doesn't mean anything. So I took the lesson learned from him that you need to communicate what you are doing, what you are thinking, what you are feeling, the communication. And then the big fish investor, he said that wherever policy goes, wherever politics goes, their money flows. Now, from these speakers, I came up with an idea of entrepreneur. During the training last year, I try to use these two concepts throughout the training materials, discussions, and then our field visits. Then I try to did what the trial error. So after the training, there were several meetings I attended, and then I tried to implement what the professor of economics says. You need to communicate, you need to talk to the people. But on top of it, you cannot do anything if you don't have this kind of entrepreneur's mindset. This mindset, I took a lesson learned from the past year that the entrepreneurs, they try to dig the pain points. They always try to find what I can do to earn money, what I can do to earn benefit. That they need to communicate the idea, meet the people, and then I think that this is something that very interesting, that if we can talk to the student, undergrad student, graduate students, that if you have an idea, can you communicate with people? Can you attract their point of view, and then apparently they can agree with your idea, and then finally they can support your idea. That's for the couple of months I tried. This is my ultimate trial and error, and then I ended up with winning the research grant. And then I thought that, okay, this is the same thing, but when I talk to these people, I try to sideways the context. These people, another context, but same things. I talk same things with different perspective. So yes, this is one of the biggest takeaway from the training attended last year. Thank you.
I also would like to add here that you can implement some classes more dynamic, in the sense that you can provide more like group of discussions, and where all of them can, maybe they have different disciplines, so they can learn by discussing. And that is one of the ways that we have learning through the Doshisha University. We receive different lecturers, and they are very passionate about certain topics. So that can help to transmit easily probably an explanation to students. And also, as I said, the cross collaboration between groups can help to, okay, maybe I don't know about politics, but my classmate knows. So by discussing different topics and different disciplines, I can remember the information that is coming from other person. And I believe sometimes when a class could be very theoretical, turns to be a little bit bored. But I believe the way that can be very effective to learn is through dynamism. Because as Ota-san said, sometimes when we have the feeling or when we feel happy, it's easier to remember certain information in our brain. So I believe, it's something that you can implement. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think we have a very nice interactive session with the audience. Thank you very much for all. So now time is up for this session. So I like to conclude our session, but lastly, I like to also give credit to Horizono-san, Ando-san, also Fukuda-san for your help, and Emma-san for your English proofreading for our publications, and many others from IGES side, also Kitakyushu City and Minamata City, and from Kamikatsu. Thank you very much. Without your cooperation, this wouldn't happen. And thank you very much for coming today for the audience. We look forward to see you, some of you, for our upcoming session. Thank you very much.